Hi internet friends! Finally, this is my long-awaited DIY Foundry build. Most of my subscribers are used to me just painting portraits, but I do other things as well. One of the things I'd like to get into is DIY metal casting. I've always wanted to try making a sculpture in bronze, and I'd like to be able to cast other metal objects too, and the first step in being able to do this is to make a foundry. I hope to be able to melt aluminium, brass and bronze once I've built it. This is it half built. If you're new here, please make sure you click the subscribe button, and anything I mention in the video will be linked in the description below. Some of my subscribers might not know what a foundry is, so I'm just going to do a very brief rundown on the basics before I get into the build. Here is a foundry. It's the place or the machine that you use to melt metal. A foundry or furnace melts the metal and you pour it into molds. This is a massive version of what I'm going to try and build. It's lined with a special heat-resistant lining that you blast heat into. The purpose of the furnace is to make the crucible in the middle extremely hot, hot enough to melt metal inside it. Once the metal is molten, you pour the metal into the mold and it solidifies into whatever shape you like. Let me quickly mention some of my favourite casting YouTubers. In the last 4 months I've watched a lot of videos about casting from dozens of sources, but I'd like to say a lot of my ideas and scant knowledge on the subject comes from watching these 3 channels. They are VegOilGuy, Old Foundryman and Lucky Gen 1001. VegOilGuy, Jeff, makes brilliant instructional videos. He's made at least 3 foundry builds on his channel and I've watched them all many times. He's a fellow Brit and he's even answered a few of my questions by email. He's brilliant. So thank you very much, Jeff. Old Foundryman, a true master. It seems like he's been casting things for decades and everything he says is some sort of solid gold nugget of info. Brilliant channel. Lucky Gen 1001. I'm pretty new to casting and videos in general, but he's another pro caster. He's fearless, very knowledgeable. He's great at busting casting myths and he seems to break the rules very successfully. Please let me know in the comments which casting channels or videos you guys watch and are loving. I would love to watch them too. I'm loving them at the moment. I've had 2 coffees, can you tell? Okay, enough chitty tatty, let's get on with the foundry build. Very quick run through on what I think the plan should be for this build. I'm starting with a 47 kilogram propane bottle, which looks a bit like this. I'm only going to use the bottom third. I'm going to cut the bottom third off roughly, and that will give me the base here. I am either going to keep the lid as the lid for this, the top rather for the lid, or I'm going to just kind of cut a little section off the middle and weld a plate on there to make a flat lid. A flat lid seems more useful. There'll be a hole to put the metal in while it's on. Anyway, so that's the 2 shapes that I need. Then I need to make a hole for the burner in the side for all the hot air and the flames and everything to be shot into the middle. And after that's done, I need to pour in the first layer of refractory cement for the base. Let that go hard. I'll also pour in the, if you imagine this is upside down now, I will pour in the refractory into the lid as well. I'll probably use a bit of drainage pipe or something to stop it pouring out of this bit, because that'll be a hole. So that'll be the lid then, done, once that's dry. And when this is dry in the base, I will get some sort of plastic or metal object that fits in there somewhere, and also a plastic tube that connects to this that will go through there. And then I will mix up some more refractory cement and I will fill up this gap all the way around the edge and pack it well around the tube as well. And then when that's fully dry, I will light a fire in there, or I'll try and pull everything out. I don't know, I think that might be difficult to do. But I'll light a fire in there and all this lining will burn away, as will the tube. And I'll just be left with a lovely lining, I hope, and a tube, a hole going all the way to the middle that I can put my burner through. And then that'll be it. Obviously I've got to make a mechanism that attaches to both. I'll probably weld them with this interesting lid lifting mechanism, but that's pretty much it. Let's do it. I remove this and then using this enormous thing took this brass fitting off. Now when I did, there was a serious smell of gas. Also I'll recycle this, I'll melt this down. If this foundry works, this will be a nice little bit addition to my brass. See this shimmering? This is gas being displaced by the water, propane. So there was still quite a lot of propane in this tank, even though it's got no lid on it. And I thought I'd fill it with water. That's what you're supposed to do. I can see why now. That might make a bit of a loud bang if I accidentally sparked it. It's nearly full. Last bit of gas. There we go. Perfect. Yay! Nice! Woo! Oh, it's quite sturdy. Sturdy stuff. A little bit of water still. There we go. Foundry. Love it. And this one, not sure yet. I could turn that into a nice stove. Maybe turn that into a stove for the workshop instead. So I'm in a bit of a dark patch. There are lights all the way around this workshop, and there isn't really one here. So I'm going to make this my last remaining lamp into a kind of roving lamp, and I'll just hang it off this beam as and when I need it. And I think today I need it here. So quickly going to do that before I do any more of this, because I think it'd be nice to be able to see what's happening. I think it might be too high. Don't know why I think that. It just seems a bit deep. Don't suppose it matters for now. Could always make it smaller. So I'm going to need a hole. When I fill this with castable refractory, I need something to stop it all filling the void in the middle. I want a nice clean void. I know people have used plastic paint tins. I've got this. Pretty good. But I don't know if that's too big. The base, I think, is perfect. I think that might be a tiny bit too big. The base of this is about right, I think. The thing is, I don't really know. Thinking time. Good morning. So, I was thinking last night about the problem. So I've got this castable refractory cement, and it's high temperature, really good stuff. It's what I need to use, and I bought some. And I want to use this drum, obviously. And so I need a shape that I can put in it that is around 26, 27 centimeters across, round, and that I can then put inside and then fill around the edge and pack it down and make that lovely and solid, and then either burn out the shape or remove the shape or something, doesn't matter what. And I've been looking around the barns. I'm sorry about the noise. It's very windy, 40-mile-an-hour winds today, just there. When we did up our house, we had to do some sewage works, and this is one of the old, I mean, it's perfectly dry and safe. It's just mud and it's not foul or anything. But this is 25 centimeters, so it's a tiny bit smaller than I wanted. Also, it's quite short with these weird spouts on it. If I can cut the spouts off, maybe it'll be workable. But if I show you this, so this would be removed or burnt out. So I think that is plenty of room for that crucible. So I went to the local fish and chip shop and asked about a vegetable oil drum. No one seems to use them anymore, they just seem to use plastic. So, because I want to get on with this is what I'm going to use. And I think this is too tall. So, what I might do is cut another bit off here, I don't know, 5 or 6 centimetres or something, and then that will also fit this a bit better. So I need to cut that down there, remove these somehow, maybe line it with a bit of, I don't know, we'll figure it out, but worst case scenario, I can cut it here and just use this bit, but I'm going to try and keep it as tall as possible. I'm not really building this to a plan or anything. I've watched several videos of people making their own, and because I'm trying to do it sort of on the cheap and it's fun to think about how to do things, I'm not really using a particular video to copy. It's nice to just kind of muddle through and try and do your own thing. Whether that will end up being a disaster, I don't know, but it will certainly be cheap anyway. But for me, that's half the fun of these kind of projects. Seeing what you've got, seeing what you can adapt, how you can think through a problem. Anyway, already I'm chatting, I'm doing nothing. I'm going to get on and cut that down a bit. There we go. If I make the floor inside about here, it's just rough, and this is the shortest edge here, it's all raggedy. If I start the inside there, it means that the top of the plaster will be about here. If I just add a bit for safety, and then that would be the lid. That seems about right. Maybe a bit too thick for the lid, but why not? You can always cut a bit off there later. And the advantage of a flat lid is there'll be a hole in the middle for putting metal in, probably about this sort of diameter, and I'll be able to put my metal ingots on the lid to sort of warm up, and then all the water on them will evaporate. If we just assume for a second that this is a little mock-up of the inside of my foundry to be, this will be burnt out, so it will be slightly bigger than this, but as you can see, if this is the lowest edge here, that seems perfect to me. Not that I know what I'm doing, but it just seems like there's enough room, but not too much room. So I think I'm really lucky to have found this. Well, I kept it. I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I kept everything. When we did up the house, there was so much stuff that I didn't put in the skips. Nice one. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to cut a fair bit off here, and that'll become the lid. Here's the burner tube. The burner will kind of slot in there, and if I tip, actually I don't want to tip it because it's level now, but that will kind of go sort of like that into the base down here somewhere. This was an old boat trailer that I funnily enough, I got on eBay. Because this tube actually fits inside here, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll make the sleeve out of this and make the sleeve permanent. But then I realised I've got a big pile of plastic fittings next to the tractor next door. And this might be even better because I can sort of, now this doesn't really, it really fits. I mean, it really nearly fits. It's like 1/4 millimetre too big, too small, too big, which we're going to be talking about. But if I cut a piece off and then make a hole through there and a hole through this thing and push it through, when I fill this surround with the refractory, it'll set and make a lovely tube that this will then perfectly insert into. So I think I'm going to do, rather than make it out of metal, I may still make a little sleeve on the outside so that when this is inserted, it's not kind of wobbling and the edge inside isn't kind of spoiling the refractory. I want to try and protect that as much as possible. So I may well have a little metal tube that comes out that this will fit inside. But on the inside, I think this will be perfect and it'll burn out when I first light the Foundry. So that's quite exciting. I can't believe all this stuff I keep, all this hoarding I've done, it's finally working out. I need a piece that is, let's say that long. So that is going to go into there. So I need to cut a hole in here. I don't know which way to make it go. Weirdly, in my mind and on any drawings I've made, I've always made it go anti-clockwise, but I don't know why. So I'm going to go anti-clockwise. So that needs to go like that. Is sort of there. There. So that's the width of the hole. So that's the width of the hole. It's going to be an ellipse. And the height of the hole is the tube. Great. So I'm planning on making my floor, this will be the level of the floor, below there. The plinth, resting on the floor, so that's the plinth level. And then the crucible here. So I want this hole to be well above the floor in case there's a crucible crack or spillage. Okay, so that's the top and bottom. Totally made that up. So this is the lid. This side down. So I need to put a sheet of steel on this side. Good penetration, that will do. So, small update, lid is done, terrible welding. Let's just say it's really good welding every couple of millimeters and then it's terrible. Good, terrible. There's a couple of bits where I've gone at least 3 inches and it's good, but whatever. So there's my little arrow mark. No, that's the wrong arrow. That is the lid. And it still seems to fit, approximately. Yep. So, that is it. I say that's it. I've still got to make the mechanism for the... I could just put the handle there for now. It'd be quite nice to be able to pop a sack barrow under it and lift it, or put it on wheels. I'll have to put things on wheels, but I don't know how safe that will be with molten metal and things. I think maybe leaving it fixed to the ground would be good. I guess I need to think about where I want to put this in the workshop when I'm doing stuff. I always assumed it would be just here, above the tallest bit of the roof, to help prevent the whole place burning down. Or there is outside. Anyway.